Welcome back, fans of the channel. Today we are going to talk about my very first PCP, the Benjamin P rod. We are a windy 20 yards with my Benjamin P rod. I think those are 4-inch shooting C's. I didn't range find this 20 yards, but I paced it out, so it should be pretty close. These are Crossman Premier 14.3 hollow points. That was an 8-shot mag. Average of 568 feet per second. Really didn't sight this gun in. I just got it to shoot somewhere close around 15 to 25 yard range so that I can shoot the pest birds at home. And it's pretty windy. That's not too shabby. Well, these were my sighter shots. I shot these two and I made a 5-click adjustment, and I was aiming at this splatter spot and it stuck that one right there. I got this last April, which would be April of 2024. And so I haven't even been into PCPs for an entire year, and I've learned a lot. I got this gun because it was kind of what I could afford at the time. I wasn't into the PCP hobby, so I couldn't justify spending tons of money on it, but I needed something to shoot pests with at the house, specifically the mongoose. I got this gun, a little pistol. I'm kind of a pistol guy, and it just seemed like the right fit for me. 22 caliber, so I could get pellets at this one store that we have that sells them. Yeah, I ended up with this Benjamin Marauder P rod, and of course I immediately ordered the buck rail stock kit for it and the buck rail silencer. I think I may have even gotten that before I got the gun, or I ordered it at the same time as the gun, one of the two. If you don't know who Terry at Buck Rail is, I guess you've been living under a rock. The guy is the coolest nerd I know. He's into making really cool stuff for mostly inexpensive air guns. So if you don't know who Buck Rail is, look him up. See what we can do. He makes this stock kit, and it's labeled, it says P-Rod stock tube. And basically it's an AR stock tube that screws into the back where you would tighten up the hammer spring to give the gun a little bit more power, and it's fully adjustable and you can put any AR stock you want on it. And then here on the end, 3D printed this, it's a proprietary threads probably, I don't know what it is, but anyway, you replace your stock end, and he has these little buck rail silencers that are 3D printed that work really well. Screw on really smooth, they're light, they work well, they're perfect for a little gun like this. I told myself I wasn't gonna start tricking it out when I got it, outside of just putting the stock and stuff that I wanted on it to kind of personalize it. But when it came from the factory, it was 17 foot-pounds, and I didn't really understand air gun stuff at all then, and so I didn't really understand that that wasn't very much, and it wasn't very much power. Funny enough, I did end up shooting a hog with this thing. I just locked on to 6 pigs, and I'm waiting for him to come back into this opening. And it was probably about 21 foot-pounds, and took it down. Shot it kind of right in the brain stem right there, at about, I don't know, 5 or 8 yards or something like that. Can't remember the pellet I used, but I think I used a Gammo pellet with the little BB in the front, one of the little penetrator ones. Anyway, the gun didn't really have enough power when I got it, and I'm a guy that modifies everything. I just can't not. I immediately ordered some Hill airgun parts for it. I think that's what they were. I ordered a larger transfer port. I ordered basically every single hammer spring offered. I ordered valve springs, and I just played with this gun and tuned it all over the place. I got it shooting, I'm not sure what I got it shooting, but I bet you I got it shooting at least 30 something foot-pounds at one point. It would fully dump the cylinder tube in like, I don't know, 7 shots or something like that. Horribly inaccurate because there was so much air coming out the end of the gun. I didn't really understand that at the time either. So having this unregulated little pistol with a short barrel really taught me a lot about tuning air guns very quickly. I cannot tell you how many times I've taken this thing apart. Sometimes it was 5, 6, 7 times a day, and that's not just taking the hammer spring out. That's like taking all the crap out and the guts out, and you push everything back in there, make sure you don't cut the O-rings, and it's an extremely good learning experience for me. And the other concept that I wasn't grasping was the regulation. So I didn't understand why it had a shot string curve, because I didn't realize at the time that the pressure in the tube would affect how much the valve stem effectively moved with the back pressure on it. So I would get it zeroed, and then it just wouldn't be shooting the same. And you know, I hand pumping at the time, so I wasn't always keeping it filled perfectly. I would sometimes, you know, if I didn't feel like pumping, I would let it run way down in the pressure, and then, you know, next day I'm not tired anymore and I'd pump it up and I'd put it right at 3000 psi. And so my shot string and point of impacts were always quite a bit different. Like if you're trying to shoot something small like a mongoose in a head at 30 yards and you're not using the same pressure all the time, it's kind of frustrating. That's when I started looking at other PCPs like the Impact, and I started to just kind of investigate airgun stuff more and started to figure out what regulation meant. Full circle on this thing. After I got all my other PCPs and stuff, I ended up putting a Huma regulator in this, and it made a huge difference in how this gun performs. It's very consistent. You can dial these things in to have them be really, really accurate. I don't really care that much. As long as I can hit like a 2-inch spot at, you know, 20, 30 yards, I'm good with it, because that's what I use it for. I just need it to pop the minor birds that come in the yard. That's what this gun is dedicated for. I call it, you know, the corner of the room. I actually hang it from one of my window curtain rods, and it just hangs. That's why you see this rubber band right here. It's rubber, so when the curtain rod is there, it won't slip off the curtain rod because it's got this rubber. You look at my other little rubber band here that looks kind of janky, but what I do is I cock it, and this rubber band keeps the bolt back. So if I'm sneaking out the door and I don't necessarily want to load something into it, I just cock it. I can walk out the door and it won't slip forward and try and half feed a pellet in there. So this little rubber band here just keeps the bolt held back so that I'm not feeding anything in there if I don't want to. They got little 8-shot mags, and I put this dovetail to Picatinny mount on it. It's had a bunch of different scopes on it. For a long time it had my compact 4-16 by 44 on it, which was my favorite scope on it, first focal plane. But right now it has this LPVO, and I shoot such close ranges and just at birds, and a lot of time the shots are just like offhand really quick. The LPVO works really good for that. I mean, it's literally what they're designed for. So I just leave this on there. Plus I can mount this scope cam to this, and so I might start filming some bird shooting videos with this. It's just enough power to kind of take those birds out. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can shoot birds. If you're just offhand and stuff, and you get kind of a wing shot, it's like just enough to get them at like that 550 to 580 feet per second. And I put it there literally so it's insanely quiet. I just want to be able to take it out, not have any of the neighbors care. They don't know if it's the other neighbor kid shooting an airsoft gun, what it is. It's just super, super quiet little thing. This is with no pellets, so it's louder. I mean, it doesn't make any sound hardly. And so I've got it there just so I can go out and pop the birds. It's so quiet that you can shoot the birds and the other birds won't fly. And so you can just keep shooting them. As long as they'll stay there, you can just keep shooting them. It still is heavily modified. I still have a big transfer port in it but I do have the softest, I think it's like a 0.38 or something hammer spring in it. I got the softest hammer spring in it. It's like 1.5 turns in. I have the rubber O-ring as the hammer buffer in there and the hammer limiter. Set it at 1800 psi, which I can't remember exactly what that is. I don't know, 100 and it's just my little hang it from the curtain gun. And I had a lot of fun with it for a long time, but mostly it was a learning tool for me to really cut my teeth into PCPs. And I ended up sinking, I don't know, probably 900 bucks or something into this thing. If I ever wanted to sell it, I would never get that out of it. Just put some black tape around the grips, because the stock grips, I don't know, it just feels better in my hand. So I put it on there. So it just kind of looks janky with black tape on it and stuff. I screwed Picatinny mount into here so that I could run the bipod off of it. I had a barrel clamp like bipod. I mean, it wasn't a barrel clamp, it was just the one that clamped around the bottom here, and it was 3D printed, but you kind of, sometimes I'll like anchor into the rock walls like that, and the plastic for the 3D printing just really wasn't strong enough, and the grooves in the Picatinny really weren't like deep enough, and so it wouldn't get a good bite from the bipod, and it broke it off. So I ended up just screwing a chunk of Picatinny in here and permanently mounted, and it's a lot tougher. Fun little pistol PCP. It's just super light. I mean, the scope damn near weighs as much as the gun does, and you can just pop little critters with it around your house super quietly. Little 8-round mags, and at the power it's tuned at right now, I'm not exactly sure how many shots it gets, but it's probably, I don't know, at least 30. But I mean, that's with no pellet in it. It's crazy quiet. And that's 580 feet per second. I shoot mostly Crosswind Premier 14.3s in it, but when I first got it, just to get the speeds up, I was shooting the H&N, I don't know, Field Target Greens, I think they are. They're the 9-grain pellets, and those will go quite a bit faster, but they have no expansion whatsoever. Premiers are actually a pretty good hollow point. It's a real shallow dish in the hollow point, and so when it hits stuff, even at low velocities, they actually open up fairly decent. I've shot those like Gammo fake poly mags next to it, and those things don't expand at all. The Premiers expand better than those things, and they're wildly more accurate than that crappy Gammo stuff. So I just wanted to show you guys the P-Rod. Go check out all the stuff that Buckrail has for these. You can put different trigger groups in them. He actually has some grips that I really want to order that I just haven't, that match, and they're a lot nicer than these stock grips. They're more like 1911 pistol style grips. A real fun gun to just tinker around with and learn how to tune PCPs. I have just pages and pages and pages of notes. And when I was tuning this thing originally and doing accuracy stuff, I didn't even have a chronograph. I was just like guessing at everything. So it was a tremendous amount of work, just like every day, just writing down all my settings and trying different things here and there and here and there. Anyway, that's my P-Rod, and now I'm just rambling. I got my Huma Air sticker on there. Highly recommend that Huma Air. For some reason, the first shot is a little bit slow today. Not really sure why, because it hasn't done that in the past, but probably just needs to be shot a little bit. This thing never gets shot anymore because I just shoot my impact and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Check out whatever videos pop up here at the end, and I don't know, if you liked it, like it, share it with a friend or something. Take care.